I could be wrong. But I did so many. I think I did like 10 or 11. And as I was going, I just heard like people getting louder and louder. It could have been something on the Jumbotron, but it sounded like they were getting hyped for me. And I was like, hey, that was sick.
What's up, guys? Today's guest is a professional movement athlete who is world-renowned for his insane power and skills. Please welcome to the JAMCast, Mr. Shawn Bautista. What's up, dog?
Hey, what's going on?
Man, super beautiful background, dog, like we talked about off camera. I think the funniest thing you started our conversation with today is mentioning that you have a little allergies to the cats in your house. And I asked, like, yo, whose cats are they? And they said, you're allergic to your own cats, basically.
Yeah, dude, I have 3 of them, and they all shed so much, but there's really nothing I could do about it. I mean, I could take like allergy pills and stuff or something, but I'm not into any of that. So it's like I'll just sneeze my life away, you know?
That is why. Were you always raised around animals you were allergic to, or like are these cats like a recent addition?
No, well, I had a pit bull when I was younger, and I was like, because I'm allergic to like everything. Like it's pretty crazy. So yeah, eventually I moved in with my girlfriend, and she had 1 cat, but then eventually, you know, he passed away, and then within like a year and a half, all of a sudden we have 3 cats. So it's just like slowly we just had all of them. So yeah, it's sick, and they're all different. I have like a black cat, a gray one, and then like an orange cat too. It's sick.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, it's so funny you say that because like growing up I was like allergic to cats too, so I never had my own, but then I dated a girl like a few years ago that had a cat, and I just put up with it just for her, and now I'm like, what was I thinking, bro? What was I mean, no, I'm not dissing you and your girlfriend, I know y'all been together for a while, but I was like, what was I thinking? I was literally sneezing every day.
Yeah, well, I notice it when I like go out somewhere else into public, like to like the grocery store, and I'm like, wow, I'm not like sneezing, my allergies aren't killing me, because quarantine and the way the world is now, dude, I spend so much time at home. So it's like, but it's nice. I have my garage, and they don't go in the garage at all. So that's my kind of escape.
That's amazing, bro. And so like, where are you at these days? Like, what city are you based out of now?
So I'm technically in Plainville. Plainville is as plain as it sounds, dude. But yeah, so I'm like an hour outside of Boston. And yeah, I'm just like in this little kind of like suburban town here. And, you know, I have like some homies around that I can train with and stuff. I have a decent amount of homies that I break with, but for the most part, yeah, I'm kind of like almost in the middle of nowhere, you know?
Yeah. And is that somewhere where you were born and raised? Have you always been in like the Boston area, or where are you from?
So I'm originally from Waterbury, Connecticut, and I lived there for like 15 years. And then I moved to Massachusetts, and then as soon as I moved here is when I discovered parkour, and then the rest is history.
And how old were you when you stumbled upon parkour? And had you done any other sports previously, or is this like your first genuine love?
No, so I was 15 when I started doing parkour, because I moved here and then I found out about it. But before, I was really into baseball. Like I was a baseball like fanatic, and I was also really into like MMA and stuff, because like growing up, I just was always into like Bruce Lee. Like my uncle put me onto all that stuff, you know, like just like all the kung fu, like all that stuff. And then as I got a little bit older, I actually went out to stay with my uncle, and because he lived in El Paso, right? So, and he was in the army, so he's like, you know, in the military they teach you have to like do like combative like training and stuff like that, you know. So like the dude is kind of like a trained killer, and he was also super into UFC, and he went to like a jiu-jitsu school as well. So I got to learn from him for like a whole like summer, you know, just like training. I had like a nice like UFC bag like in my room, and I would like wake up and hit that like every single morning. And then you know, sometimes like we would grapple and he'd teach me things, and then I'd go out into like the neighborhood and like play with all the kids and like practice grappling on them. It's pretty sick, man. But yeah, so I think a lot of explosiveness, I feel like maybe came from doing like a lot of like MMA training. But even like before that, I was always like climbing trees, and like if I played tag, like I couldn't be caught. I could jump over the fence like super quick and stuff, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, man. So I would say like baseball and like MMA were my things before I found parkour.
Okay. Man, that is super wild to see the transition, and it doesn't really, like, baseball doesn't really necessarily translate over to the skill set that you have nowadays, with the exception of maybe the running explosiveness, like you said. But
Yeah, like I was really good at like stealing bases. Like I stole like so many bases. but, but besides that, I don't think much of it translated over. I also pitched and like I threw really hard. So I feel like the explosiveness was just always there with me, like as a kid. You know, but yeah, man, that's that.
that's wild, man. I think one of the things that blows me away the most about like where you're from, and that's why I wanted to ask where you're still at now, is like a couple years ago, I was in Boston working on a movie. And I remember the one thing I noticed was like as soon as I landed there, I had to buy a whole new wardrobe because it was so damn cold, bro. I was not meant for this. I'm a Cali kid, born and through, right? And meanwhile, I would log onto your Instagram and I see your ass outside training in the snow with no shirt on, barefoot, bro. Is this like something that you just become accustomed to over the years from training in cold, or like how are you able to like battle the tundra, the frozen tundra, I guess,
I mean, to be honest, man, like I feel I just wasn't gonna let winter stop me. And I know like the whole idea of going like no shoes and all that stuff is definitely like a force, but for me, it's like it was kind of just like a challenge. Like, can I do this? But yeah, so yeah, man, for me, I've just always looked at it as like as long as you like can move, like you can like stay warm and you prepare yourself, right? Just like you said, when you got here, you were like, oh man, I need to switch it up. So me going out and training in the cold wasn't as easy as just doing it. It was kind of just like the long like grinding time period of doing it. And then I found Wim Hof. You know Wim Hof, right? Yeah. Anybody who doesn't know Wim Hof, you got to go look it up right now because Wim Hof is a maniac. But yeah, I found the Wim Hof stuff, and he just is like cold does not affect him like at all. And I found that I think maybe like 2 years ago. And once I started kind of doing that, like the breathing techniques and getting in like the frozen lakes, after that I feel like cold doesn't. It's just like it's like such an extreme that now I just can go and do it.
Crazy, bro. That is crazy. That is so foreign to me because, like, I just had talked to James West on here just very recently, and he told me they just got like a foot and a half of snow, and I'm looking outside my window right now, and it's like 75 degrees. I got shorts on right now.
I'm a little jealous here. I'm not gonna lie. I would like some warm weather. I would like to be on some nice grass right now, dude.
Yeah, 100%. And that's one thing that I've always been blown away with you by is that like you always have been training. I mean, you put out tons of clips where you're training pretty much nonstop. Like that's very, very, very clear to the world and public. But I think one thing that always blew me away is that like you're not always necessarily training inside of a gym. Most times we see you either in the snow. We'll see you outside, like in the woods. We'll even see you in your garage, like you said, and stuff like that. So when you first started training, were you more of a gym rat? Is that how you got exposed to it, or you always been like training outside in the elements?
I would definitely say outside was my element because when I first started, my mom was not the biggest fan. So me like wanting to go to the gym, like I didn't have a car, so she would like have to bring me, and she just kind of wasn't about it. And then open gym, like it would cost like $15, and I didn't have a job or anything, so it's like then I had to like get the money. So it was kind of a bad one. I got to go sometimes with like my friends and stuff who had cars, and I'd like sneak into open gym because I didn't have money and stuff. But for the most part, a lot of my training was just outside, and whenever I would go to the gym, I would really like put in the work to like try some of the things that I maybe was afraid to do outside. But yeah, for the most part, a lot of my training is definitely outside. And like now it's really weird because like there aren't too many gyms open and stuff, so it's really like all my training is mostly like outside. I got to go to one of my friend's gyms recently, and I was like going crazy. It was like 2 hours of like nonstop. Like I literally didn't stop. I would like do a trick and not even land it, and I'd be like, I'm on to the next. Like I was going at it, dude. I was like, this is my rare gym time, bro.
Oh, that is so funny, Doug. I can't even imagine what would happen like if you had access like 24/7. But at this point, is it a preference for you to have like rare gym sessions, like you said, so you can capitalize upon them? Or like, do you really prefer just like training outside, since that's where the majority of your, you know, your videos and clips are from?
I mean, before like COVID happened, right? I was training at the YMCA, and it was like right down the street from me, and I figured out the schedule there. So I was training there like a lot, and I'd go like multiple times a day, because it depends though, right? Because it could be really cold and there could be snow, or it could be really cold and there can be like ice. And if there's ice, you can't do anything. You know, like you really can't do much. So I don't know, man. It's tough. Like, if I could like hibernate in the gym for like 3 months, like I probably like would, you know. But at the same time, I like the idea of like also just grinding outside, because I just feel like for my mind it helps. You know what I mean? Because committing to something on not a mat is just, it's different, you know, especially if it's something new. So I don't know. I like a bit of both, you know, because I like to get my reps in and stuff, but at the same time, I like to push my mental game like outside, you know.
Yeah.
So
100.
yeah.
I think one thing that stands in my mind, and it's kind of funny. I mean, I'm sure you heard this before from some other people, but for the longest time, dog, I'm not gonna lie, I thought you and Z were the same person for the longest time, when I would just see individual clips of you guys. And then when I finally saw you guys in the same video, I was like, oh shit, there's two different people. But when I had him on the JAMCast, one thing that he really spoke to me about was how you were able to really help him overcome his own fears. And like, you really pushed him by forcing him to like do stuff outside. I think like you had him like do his first, I don't know, flyaway or double flyaway outside or something like that.
And,
yeah, because you know Z and his skill set and all the training he had before. So once he was kind of making that transition over, I just saw all the potential, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, like you got it, you know, for like everything, like literally everything, from like the simplest to some of the sketchiest stuff that he's ever done. It's like, you know, like I got it, or like you got it. And yeah, man, I definitely pushed Z pretty hard, you know.
Yeah. 100.
And to see where he is now, and like it's pretty cool. And a lot of the things that he's done, you know, especially since he's came to LA, all the like legendary things that he's done, it's like, it's so cool for me to see, because I can think back to like 2015 when like he would just come over and I'd be like, bro, I know you got double layout off this sketchy boy, like I know you got it. And he's like, I don't know, like dude, just do it. And then boom, stomps the first try. I'm like, I knew it, bro. Like, and then eventually it was just like, it was like building blocks, you know, like that would just happen so much. So then now you see where he is, and it's like he could just go out and do triple flyaway and land it first try. You know, it's sick, man.
That's dope, man. And just to put it in perspective right now, like for those that follow JAMCast, like I said, we just recently had James West on here as well, who he mentioned that he has the opportunity to train with you sometimes and stuff like that. What's the age difference between like you and those guys? Are you like the same age as them, or are you like a little bit older?
Dude, February 17th, I'm about to be 25.
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm definitely older than them. I think James is
19, I think.
Yeah. He's young, and I think about it sometimes. You know, he'll come over, and I'm like, James, how old are you? He's like 19. I'm like, damn, bro, I'm like 6 years older than you. You know, like that's kind of a lot. But then I don't know. You look at like, I don't know, even like somebody like Z, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. He's like, I know he's over 21. Then he's like training with like Eric. And that's like almost like a 10-year like gap, but it's so sick because, you know, everybody's like still going hard. So when we're training, I almost like don't even think of like the age, just because like James is next to me, he's like 180 pounds and he's like huge, like, you know, it's like he's more of a grown man than I am. Like, shit.
Yo, for reals. Yo, it's so crazy to see, man. I can totally attest to that myself, since like, you know, I'm like kind of old gen kind of in between. I'm like, I want to say I'm like 11 years older than Bailey. And when I be out there training with Bailey sometimes, he's like, yo, do this with me. And I'll be like, nah, dog, I'm not the same kid I used to be. And I'll like have to show him videos from like 2010. I'll be like, I've done this before, but I'm not doing it anymore, bro. Like, I'm never again. Yeah. I'm like, but I'll film you. Let's go, you know?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. It's cool to see that you've had an impact on a bunch of like up and coming athletes, especially within our movement community and stuff. And one thing that, dude, I've always wanted to ask you about amongst a bunch of other things. So I'm just going to start my checklist now. So bro, I always see these videos of you outside in the woods, and I think it's not there anymore, but I used to always see you training on this random high bar that was like set up between two trees, which looked like in the middle of the woods. How did that bar get there? And is that something that you installed yourself, or like?
Yeah, I did a very ghetto installation because I'm not like, I don't have like drills and like 4x4s and all that stuff. So I went and I found this bar randomly just like in the woods, and I went between these trees and I took some nails, like really like long nails, and I like hit them into the tree, and then I just set the bar like on top of it, you know, like even.
Yeah.
And then I just taped it as much as I could.
So they're just resting on the nails.
Yeah, well, oh yeah, so then I put them on top, so like the bar couldn't like go up or down, but it could like spin, but then the tape held it from spinning until James came and used it, because he's like so much heavier than me, dude. He swung on it a couple times and all of a sudden it started spinning. but yeah, man, it was pretty cool. It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, and what happened to it? Did it just come down, or did someone take it down?
Well, I had multiple. So I had one that was in my backyard that James actually is the one that James broke. But then I had one where I put in this random spot like down the street from me. There's a whole bunch of trees knocked over. I was hanging out with James there literally like maybe like 2 weeks ago or something, and I was like, man, I feel like the only way somebody could take this spot away from me is if they came up with like a chainsaw or something. And then like literally like 2 or 3 days later, I showed up and a couple of the trees were just cut by something. And I was like, all right, this is weird. But I cleaned it all up and I just kept training, because I'm like, bro, in order for you to stop me training, you're going to have to cut down every single tree, like exactly. Literally every single one. And even then, I got a bunch of flat ground to tumble on. So it's like, you can't like stop me, you know? But yeah, man. So I don't really know what the deal is with that, but it seems kind of targeted.
That's hilarious, bro. That is so crazy to me, dog, that you just had this like random training spot down the street from your house and stuff like that. And then one of the other spots that we always see you at, and I don't know the name of it, so maybe you could just like explain it, but I always see you at this like gigantic like sand dunes or like sand hill and stuff like that. And I think James mentioned the name, starts with a B or something, like. Yeah,
it's called Burrow. It's Burrow Sand Corporation. I probably shouldn't be giving all that information. Just kidding. I don't care at all. I literally don't care. But yeah, no, they work there every single day except Saturday and Sunday. Okay. So when they're not working, I just pull up and see, because they usually are always moving sand around, you know, so a lot of the times it's like different setups. And I've been training there from when I first started, because when I first like started doing parkour, I met kids here in Massachusetts that did it, and you know, they showed me their YouTube videos, and that was a clip was at Burrow. So I'm like, yo, where's that place? And they brought me there, and that was it. I've just been going since. Last time I was there, though, we actually kind of got caught, and some random dude was like, hey, oh, like the police are like on their way and stuff, so if you guys want to leave now, like you can. And yeah, we dipped, and I haven't gone back since. So I was just gonna lay low for a little bit, but yeah, man, it's cool because, you know, we talked about me not like really training in a gym, but having that spot is like, I don't know, man. It's like almost like more than like a gym in like certain aspects, you know, because like you have like a foam pit, and when I tell you that sand is soft, like I've landed like head first, like in that sand, and I've been like pretty all right, you know. Yeah. So I've spent 9 years, like a little over 9 years, going to that spot and just like experimenting with all different types of stuff every time I go. And even like drilling, like every time I go there, I'll do a frog gainer if it's like an ideal setup, just because it's just like how I move, you know. But yeah, man, I feel like if I didn't have that spot, I probably wouldn't be who I am now, to be real.
Hell yeah. And where is that place located? Not to blow up your spot, but is it in the city or?
It's right on the other side of town.
Okay. Is it like in the city or no? Like far from?
No, it's literally just right on the other side of like the town. Because I just live in like a small suburban town, and it's just like a big corporation that's there. So it's like a 5-minute drive, and then like the tree spot that I go to is like 2 minutes down the road. So it's pretty cool that like I have all these like places around me that I can go and do my thing, and then I have my garage too, so it's cool. It makes me think about it. I'm like, man, if I because eventually I'll probably move from here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna miss Borough, like I'm gonna miss a tree spot, like.
Man, that's wild, man. The only reason I was asking where it's located is because, here in LA, I've never been to a spot like that had sand hills and stuff. But when I was in Boston on that movie a few years ago, we actually 2 days filmed at another location, like in the city, which was the same thing. It was like a sand production company with.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It's like it's almost like near the park under the highway and stuff like that. Like. Yeah, and we got to film over there, and I was like, damn, do they just got these all over, like, this state? Because I see Shawn at one, too. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's actually crazy because there's that one that's on the other side of town, and then there's, like, another place that's similar that is, like right there. It's, like, right outside my house, and they, like, blow up rocks, and they do a bunch of stuff there, too. So, yeah, I guess it's just common over here. But man, that is so sick you got to go to that one in Boston, because I've seen that so many times. I'm like, I want to go over there.
It was cool though. I mean, it's highly, highly scrutinized by security, especially because it's near the freeway and stuff like that. I think you can even see the arena and stuff, from there. But it was cool, man. Like we even got Gabe Nunez from Tempest was our stunt double for Colin Farrell on that, and he actually got to do a thing where he like jumped over the freeway overpass into one of the sand dunes. It was dope.
Yeah, that is sick. That is so sick.
Hell yeah, man. And now, not to bring up a bad memory now, but it's something that I got to ask you about because it was such a crazy clip and moment in your life, I'm sure. But in June of 2020, in the middle of COVID and amongst all the other craziness in the world, we actually saw you knock yourself out. And was that at the Burrows or where was that?
I was at the Burrows. I probably sound like a hypocrite now, right? Like, bro, the sand is so soft. It's so safe.
But I knocked myself out once.
To be fair, I was there with James actually, and there was I saw this idea for like a frog gainer, and it was something I've never seen anybody do before. So I was eyeing it up, and to be fair, I did have a feeling in my head that was like no, this is not it. But I thought it was self-doubt. I'm like, this would be sick. I can do it, And then I literally hit my head, and the next thing I know, I was just I was home, taking out the trash. And then, yeah, it was bad. I blacked out, dude. I don't remember getting up. I don't remember them bringing me home or anything like that. And I didn't have health insurance at the time, so I didn't go to the hospital. But I got health insurance now. I just got it 2 weeks ago, which is pretty sick because I haven't had it for literally, dude, so long. So long.
Dog, I be telling people all the time. People are always like, yo, why is Europe so good at parkour? I'm like, because they have national health care, dog. They can get broken and go get fixed, instantly for free. So parents are better about it,
Yeah. This definitely was not the case for me, but yeah, man, that was definitely a big turning point in my career because, I don't know, when you just knock yourself out, that's not a common thing. Even some people who've I've seen people hit their heads on con gainers and frog gainers, but getting knocked out is such an extreme, and I didn't think the sand was that hard, but I guess it didn't matter, dude, because I landed and then I fell on my head. But James told me that I was pretty in denial about it. I just got up and I tried to act like it didn't happen.
And you don't remember any of that?
Nope.
Damn, that's crazy.
I just remember being home and it was a Sunday and I was like, I gotta take the trash out. And then I took the trash out, and then next thing you know, in the morning I woke up and I watched the video and it all felt like it was a dream. I was like, holy shit, man.
That's wild, bro. That's wild.
But yeah, man. So that's sometimes a quick message to anybody that's watching this. Sometimes if you have that feeling, trust your gut, man, because your gut, I don't know, it knows what's good and what's not. So, and because to be honest, it's I don't know, I could have went back there and maybe did that move again, or it doesn't really matter, So the fact that I went for it, it's all a learning experience. So I'm not I regret it happening, but yeah, man, it just is what it is.
Yeah, I feel you on that, dog. It's good advice for the younger generations out there. There's obviously like a thin line between like when you're a little nervous about something and you have to overcome fear, as opposed to like a gut feeling that tells you like, maybe don't do this, man. Because I'm very similar to you, man. There's been a couple times in my life where I was like, nah, you don't need to do this, and I had a weird feeling, and I was like, nah, just push through, and I ended up just seriously injuring myself, or having a surgery based on one move that I didn't even need to try.
So
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's so tough because I don't know. We're all trying to like get better, right? So for me in that situation, I saw that as like, I don't know, something that was groundbreaking for me. I was like, I've never seen anybody do this move before. So, like let me be the person to do that. And I mean, I went for it.
And it was dope, dog. It was dope. I haven't seen anyone do that either, where they try to kick back and then go into it. It was crazy, bro. So mad respect on that. And like over your career, you've had like a few bails. Like, I've seen some compilations of your stuff. Is that to date probably your worst bail yet?
Yeah,
okay.
I would say so. Because like knocking out, dude, I just feel like there's nothing more extreme than that. That was probably my craziest one. I had one bail that was actually in LA, in Santa Monica. And that was another time where I had this idea of something. So I did like giant on the
Off
bar,
the bar. Yeah, bro.
go up, and then I was going to handstand gainer. And it was like another thing, like, oh, like nobody's done this. And like I did in the gym, like really, really well. And I once again had that feeling like, oh, this might not be it, or like take your time. And I rushed it, and I just I like barely even did a set. I just got up there and like ripped it, and before you know it, I was on my head. I was like, holy shit, dude. But yeah, man, it's all learning experiences, bro. It's like, it's all learning.
And along the lines of bails and stuff like that, like we just talked to James, who's recovering from a collarbone surgery right now. I just came off an MCL tear and a fibula fracture. Have you had any serious injuries, or have they all just been fortunate bails where you learn from it, but you're able to still get back to training soon?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. But I broke a scaphoid, dude. I don't know if you can see, but I got like a
right there,
centipede on my wrist. Yeah, I broke my scaphoid. Doing a palm flip off like a tree, and I touched like a wiggly branch. So as I pushed, I like gave, and I like fell on my wrist like this on the ground. And I didn't do anything about it for like a year and a half. I just like tumbled on like my fist and on my hand like this. I like couldn't do push-ups. And once again, I definitely don't. Damn, dude, that was so long ago. I'm just being taken back. Holy crap! But yeah, man, I got surgery on my wrist, and to be fair, you wouldn't think it, right? When you watch some of the clips of me like doing some breaking or like back handsprings and stuff, you wouldn't know I have a screw in my wrist. But I did some physical therapy, and I had a really good surgeon because I have another friend who also broke his scaphoid, and he got surgery, and they did it over here for some reason, and he doesn't have anywhere close to as much mobility as I do with like my wrist. You know what I mean? So I think I just had like a really good surgeon, and obviously, like I'm strong, and I push myself to like, get my body better. But yeah, I would say my wrist is like the only surgery I've had. Yeah.
Okay.
And I try to not let it stop me. It's a little frustrating sometimes because, like with breaking, it's really good to do things on both sides, So like sometimes freezing here is like a little bit harder, but I don't like make no excuses for myself because there's people who like don't have legs and don't have hands. So like, who am I to be like, oh, my wrist hurts? At least I have one.
100, bro. No, I totally know what you're talking about. I just recently had to tell Bailey about an injury I had because he like asked me to do some bar move, and I was like, I need to warm my hands up, and he's like, why? And he didn't know for the longest time. But I had like an injury on my hand where I let it go like 10 years ago, and I didn't have the surgery, and now it's kind of irreparable. But I have no ligaments in my my two fingers on my left hand here. So like when I make a fist, like this one's normal, right? And then this one, I can't close it because I have no ligaments. So when I like do bars, I'm basically holding on with like just these two fingers here. So like for the last decade, if you watch any of my videos, like I pretty much don't do weapons anymore. I don't do bars anymore because I just don't have the grip strength because I have no ligaments that I never repaired, you know?
Dude, that is crazy.
It's crazy, bro. So I'm
I
glad
would
you
not have
fixed
known
yours.
that at all.
Yo, bro, yeah. It's a wild one, bro. It definitely affects me, especially if I was trying to like break like you. I don't think I'd be able to, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard.
Crap, man. Yeah, well, you know what? That sketches me out because I think it was actually that time that I was speaking about that bail in Santa Monica where I like tried to do the handstand gainer or whatever.
Yeah.
I landed on my left wrist and it hurt for a while, but you know, some time went by and I got it like stronger and stuff, but I can definitely feel like that there's still like some like swelling. Now that I got health insurance, I should probably go and check that out so I don't freaking lose ligaments or something, you know?
Make the most of that new policy, dog.
I know this one girl Casey, she was on like the Celtics like green team, you know, like the performance team, and she had a similar thing where she broke her scaphoid and she didn't do anything about it, I guess, and the bone just started to like rot away. And
snap.
so then it's like everything that she does is just like this because like her hand, she can't go like that. So yeah, man, injuries are crazy. It's wild what they can just like do to you and you like not even expect it, you know?
Yeah, the human body is amazing. It's capable of a lot of things. Like, you know, all things considered, it's pretty wild what we can overcome, you know? So
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man.
that's crazy. And so like along the lines of that, like, you know, you're known for your like insane power and, you know, explosiveness. Do you do any cross training, like in addition to your normal PK and breaking training, or is it all just through the movement itself that you're able to get stronger?
Yeah, I would say it's mostly through the movement, man. Like I do pull-ups and stuff and I do a lot of push-ups, but besides that, I wouldn't really say like there's anything else I like do. Like before COVID, I was like going to the gym. I started like lifting weights a little bit, but for the most part, it's all just been through training. Because I mean, I've been training like almost every single day for over like 9 years. So, so like even before that, I felt like I was always just like a fast, like, you know, like energetic kid. So then once I started doing parkour, and especially breaking too, breaking is really like changed like a lot for me when it comes to strength and explosiveness. But a lot of that, man, I feel like is really the root to just like my explosiveness. Like it's like when people like message me, hey, how do I get my Webster better? And they act like I'm gonna say, well, listen, you're gonna do about 10 pistol squats a day. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, you just gotta do it, bro. Like, you gotta do it over and over.
100, bro. Oh, it's too good. And yo, and now along the lines of your breaking, what was it that got you into that realm of movement, and how long ago did you start actually like going after chasing breaking as a form of movement?
Yeah, well, I think it was when I was 18 is when I started doing like street shows, like in the city. I like went downtown and like met those dudes and I was able to do flips. So, you know, they kind of like put me on. But a lot of the guys that were down there were, I wouldn't necessarily say breaking, but doing a lot of like the street performance, like moves and stuff. You know what I mean? Whether it's like turtles or like hand hops and stuff. So that's kind of where I first saw just like the idea of just like, I don't know, just seeing that in real life, you know, because you see it in movies, you watch You Got Served and you see like breaking, but I never really saw it in real life. And I slowly started like kind of just trying like freezes and stuff like that. But I feel like in the last 2 years, I feel like I really was training breaking like really hard. And I think it's because I started learning more of like the culture about it, you know, like going back to like the beginning and really learning about all the people who have like done their part when it comes to like innovating and like creating, you know. I've done a lot of that research. And then once I started doing that and realizing there was more than just fast turtles and there's like footwork and top rock and style and all this and all these different elements, I feel like it's when I really started like falling in love and just doing it every single day.
And are you self-taught just like your parkour and free running stuff, or do you have a crew that you meet up with?
I mean, I'll say like half and half, right? Because I would like learn from people that I would come across and stuff. But I have a couple of homies. Shout out to homie Tony, Brian, Gerson, all these guys that I met that I've been breaking for a really long time, and I've had the opportunity to train with them and just like learn so much. You know, like my homie Tony's been breaking for probably like 14 years or something like crazy like that.
Wow.
You know, and probably even more. I'm probably just like speaking on whack numbers, but yeah, these guys are really experienced, you know, and so I'm lucky enough that I've been able to train with them, and now that I have like my own like spot, I can have like them come over and we can just kind of jam out, and then it's just like, so it's a little bit of both. I spend a lot of time training by myself too, you know. I spend a lot of time like watching videos and like trying to create some motivation. So I would say it's like half and half, you know.
Okay.
And at this point, for someone that excels so much at like, the sport of free running and stuff like that, do you find yourself more intrigued by like the newness of breaking, or do you still like have a long-standing passion for, flipping and parkour and stuff?
No, I definitely still have a passion, like 100% for flipping. Like yesterday I was randomly in my garage and I was like, imagine if you could do windmill up to handstand gainer, so it's like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to like go ahead and get really good at breaking just because like I love it, I want to do it, but I want to be able to incorporate both, you know what I mean? And try to just do things that people have never seen before, because it's hard to do that, man. Like especially breaking has been around for so long.
Yeah.
So the amount of things that people have done, it's like, I don't know, it goes back to before I was even born.
Yeah.
And free running is like, it's dope, it's been around for a while, definitely not as long. So it's like there's still like, I feel like a big like I don't know, doorway for like innovation. So I feel like if I can take some aspects of breaking and put it on like with like my free running training, like I said, I think I can do things that people have never done before.
Okay.
Word. And I know one of the things that allows you to combine both passions of like your tumbling, your flipping, your breakdance and stuff like that is, I believe that you're a part of, the Boston Celtics, like performance team, or like, the guys that go out there at halftime or in between breaks and stuff like that. How'd you get involved in that, and how long you been doing that for?
Man, well, so back when I was training at this one gym called Nessa, so before this gym closed down, the Celtics mascot, Lucky, like he's like the dude who goes and like dunks. Me and him trained at the same gym, and I like didn't even know that he was the mascot for like a long time. So, we were training and stuff, and for a while, and then once I got older, all of a sudden it was like, hey, do you want to be a part of this? And I was like, sure, why not? So I went and I tried out for the team. It's kind of funny. I was like busy at the time of the tryouts, but since I don't even know if I should be saying this, but it doesn't even matter. Since I was cool with Kit is Lucky. Since I was really cool with him and my other friend Ray, who's like also like a captain of the team. I just like took a video of me like training in the gym, and I like sent it in as like my submission, because they already knew that I had the skills and stuff. So it would just then be kind of like learning the ropes of like performing and creating routines and stuff. So I did for 1 year, and they kind of like tricked me into like trying to do stunting more. And I'm not like a cheerleader. I don't have anything against it at all, but like that's not what I do. Like I'll tumble, but I'm not picking anybody up, dude. Especially because like it's kind of sketch. I'll come down. I got hit a couple of times trying to learn, and then I was like, oh, I'm all set with this. And then like 2 years went by. My friends kept doing it, and they're like, yo, we don't have to stunt anymore. So then I came back, and that was last year, and it was super sick, man. I spent like literally the whole season just training, because our routines that we would make up, like since we were all friends and we knew each other for a while, it would just be like, oh, you do this and then child flips over, perfect. And then we would just spend like the whole season just like training like nonstop, and I didn't have to stunt at all. So it was pretty sick, man. And I would definitely do it again, but obviously now COVID is a thing, and that's not realistic. But next year, if it comes around, I'll definitely do it, because it was cool, man. And I got to train a bunch on like hard floor and be with other people that are like really sick. My homie David, Bboy Low D, shout out to him. He's probably not gonna watch this, but he's like 30 something, and he was breaking since he was like 12. So like he's been breaking for a really, really long time, man. And just being able to be around people like that and soak that up is like sick for me, like learning, you know?
Okay. That's dope, dog. And like when you're doing those shows and stuff like that, like how early do you have to get there before game time, and how many times do you have to like go out during the games to like do sets?
I mean, it really depends on like the schedule, but I would show up. It's bad that I can't even remember this. I would say like maybe an hour or two before, and I would literally show up, like eat some of the snacks that they have there that they bring out, and I would warm up, and depending, because like sometimes we would do halftime, right? So halftime would then include like the dancers and like the dunk team and then like the cheer team, because we had like a b-boy squad kind of, you know, or like a break squad, because I wouldn't call myself like a b-boy, but yeah, so sometimes we would go out and we would do our only one performance, or sometimes we would go out and perform our set and then do like the halftime show, you know what I mean? And then maybe get like timeouts. Sometimes there'd be like a random like t-shirt toss, and then we all go onto the court and then just like kind of like do our thing, you know? That was like some of my favorite parts, just getting to like freestyle, you know? Because I remember there's this one time where I was doing some Websters, and I could be wrong, but I did so many. I think I did like 10 or 11. And as I was going, I just heard like people getting louder and louder. It could have been something on the Jumbotron, but it sounded like they were getting hyped for me. And I was like, hey, that was sick.
Hell yeah. Yeah, there's something about live performance, dog. Because like I work in the entertainment industry, but it's like, you know, we do a take and that's it, you know, but being in front of a crowd of thousands and tens of thousands of people is so unique, bro. The energy is unmatched.
Yeah, it's cool, man. And like, I don't know. That my first time ever going to a Celtics game, I was like on the floor. So I feel like, I don't know, thinking about it that way, it's pretty cool for me, man. It's a unique thing, and I'll be able to like be older and go and look back at it like, I used to be on the Celtics team. Like I just think that's sick, dude. Like that's so sick. I saw LeBron James.
That's tight, dog. That's super tight. And now along the lines of that, of like, you know, being able to like capitalize upon your skill set in order to do that and stuff like that, like what's the current like goals for yourself right now? Are you trying to make like a life off of movement, or where do you find yourself at this point in your life approaching 25?
Man, I mean, to be fair, what I would really like to do is I'd really like to grow my YouTube, and I'd like to become consistent on that, because like right now, like I'm monetized, you know, so like my videos can like make some money, but it would be really sick to just grind my YouTube and make it become like really big and be able to like use that to, I don't know, buy a house, and then just be like sick. I worked so hard, and like not working like an actual job, you know, because like it doesn't feel like a job. I'm just like doing what I do, and I'm having fun, and I'm lucky enough to be able to make money from it, you know, which I think is pretty special. So yeah, man, I think that's like my main goal, is to keep training as long as I can, and hopefully be able to grow my YouTube and like buy like a house and have a bunch of land to where I can have like anything I want.
Yeah,
if that's like that'd probably be my answer. Okay. But yeah, man, I don't know, because it's tough when you think about people who have been doing parkour, like free running and tricking, like, and you try to look at like the oldest person. It's like, I don't know, it's not that many people that are like super old. Like the oldest free runner I know, I think, is maybe Eric. I know there's like some guy also in like London or something like that I've seen before, who's like 50 years old and can like take drops and stuff. But it's like when you're like young and you maybe are into like football or something, right? You can like look up to these people and be like, oh, like they played football and then they made a career for themselves. So it's like such a mystery when it comes to parkour and free running and breaking, of like, I don't even know where this is taking me, but I'm along for the ride. And yeah. So that's a
Hell yeah. And at this point, what motivates your movement and your like, I guess, desire to continue to like push the boundaries? Do you source inspiration from watching other people, or is it just like you're trying to up your own personal like skill level at this time?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, especially when it comes to breaking. I have like a bunch of just different inspirations, and I watch like more breaking than I do like parkour and freerunning, to be honest. Um, but I think what keeps me going is just I would say the progression, dude, because I just feel like there's nothing better than that, even on a really small scale, like doing something just like different that I've never done before is like, that's what pushes me to just keep going and keep going. And I feel like every single time I train, I do something different, whether it's like something big or super small, like small variation, you know, I get joy from all of it.
Okay. And you kind of mentioned you watch more breaking than PK and stuff like that, but is there anyone that you grew up watching or anyone that you currently watch?
Yeah, Bboy physics.
Ooh.
If you're, yeah, physics,
Yeah.
dude, physics is like, I don't even have words to describe, but I like watching physics. I like watching like low G. I like watching a lot of people. I see a lot of people that I don't even know who they are sometimes. You know what I mean? Because like there's like this one Instagram that's it's like June Korean rock or something, and they post like just like super old school breaking and like a bunch of people that are innovators, and like I'll just like go through that and just like just kind of like just take in inspiration. And to be honest, dude, like I feel like a lot of it just comes from like I watch people and I'm like, all right, I need to go out and train. Like I'm taking so much of this in, like now I need to go and let it out.
100, bro. No, that's super cool, man. That makes a lot of sense. And now this is something I've always wanted to ask you too, is like, what is your personal take on competition? Do you ever see yourself like competing and breaking and battling, or like into these like, free running comps as both of these sports continue to emerge to larger platforms?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely would like to compete. Competing is weird, but like for me, because I like sometimes take a second to be like why am I putting myself on like a showcase? You know what I mean? Because like when I first started training, it wasn't like, oh, I want to train to compete and I'm gonna go to Red Bull and I'm gonna win. Those are all things I think would be sick and I've thought of before, but I also like competition because I feel like you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. You know what I mean? I could train all I want in my garage, but then all of a sudden, when I'm like in like a spot and I'm then battling somebody, like it's like a whole different pressure that's on you. So I would like to battle in the future, but I just think it'll happen when the time is right. Right now I still got so much work to put in, and I could probably go battle right now, right? Like if somebody's like, "Yo, let's get down right now," I'd be like, all right, like this would be sick. But for the most part, it's like I just want to keep training and just keep getting nicer. Plus, like I don't know, breaking is going to be in the Olympics 2024, man. If I keep my grind up, who knows? Like
Exactly.
it'd be sick, dude.
Exactly.
And also with free running, like once COVID is just not a thing anymore, hopefully, it's kind of hard to speak on that. But when free running comps and all that stuff comes back around, I think it'd be cool, and I'd like to take part because I think it was kind of interesting, man, how there are a lot of athletes, especially like parkour athletes who train like very specific for competition, like they have this event coming up and, they're running, they're doing this and that. And then all of a sudden, like COVID happened and then like competitions were like, it's like almost like they don't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like for a little bit, like nothing really mattered. But I still like keep training and keep doing my thing. And once it's a thing, I'd like to be a part of it again.
Yeah, 100, bro. And now at the level that you're at and all these like crazy moves that you're chasing and going after and stuff like that, do you still find yourself like getting nervous or like any like little feelings of fear inside? Like obviously we talked about sometimes you get a gut feeling about like walking away from something dangerous, but do you still find yourself like having to battle and combat fear?
Yeah, a bunch, dude, a bunch. I'm trying to think. There was something recently I did. It must not be that cool since I can't remember it. But there's one thing I want. Oh, actually, no, I can't remember specifically because I was training with James, and we were just doing like a running like gainer full, like off like a little step with like a small drop, and I haven't done something like that in so long, and for some reason it was just like freaking me out. And I'm like, dude, I feel scared. Like I'm scared right now, but it's just a gainer full, you know. So I think I definitely still feel fear. It's hard for people to sometimes like think about that, because when you go on the Instagram and stuff, you know, it's just like you see like hand moves everywhere. You see like all the intense training. You kind of don't see like, oh, like I'm scared to do this. Like my heart is racing fast. You know what I mean? But I definitely still come into that a bunch, especially when I'm at like burrow doing really hard moves, like doing crazy stuff into the sand, and like knowing that I'm not invincible and I can like knock myself out is like I definitely go back and forth with fear, but I'll let it stop me, you know.
Is this something that you like in the moment are able to just overcome, or do you have to like build yourself up to stuff like over time? Like,
I mean, yeah, I mean, to be real, like, I'll give a quick example. When I was in California last time, I was over at Manhattan Beach, and I did this massive front flip off the pier, and I went up there and I looked at it, and when I looked at it, I do this thing where sometimes when I know something is possible, I like then kind of start to get scared, because I'm like, oh, I know I can do it. Like the commitment is coming, you know? So, like I remember looking at that front flip, and I like stared at it for a really long time, and then I like went down and like looked at it from the side and like visualized. Like I visualized a lot of things, because it just, I don't know, your brain is so powerful that you can just like see yourself doing that, you know? So I spent a bunch of time like just looking at it and visualizing, and then I got up there and it was like deep breaths, like closing my eyes, like it's like meditating. I noticed that I do that. I don't like think to myself like, all right, I'm going to meditate right before this, but it is a form of like breathing and closing your eyes and visualizing and stuff. And then I committed for it, and I was like, holy crap, that was crazy. So yeah, man, the fear is definitely there. A lot of times it lingers, and I feel like there's definitely have been certain things where I'm so scared that I'm like, that's not it for me today, you know. But it goes back and forth, you know. It's like a constant battle. So, but I think I would like to say I handle it pretty well.
yeah, definitely. I mean, from what we see, obviously you handle it pretty decently, but I think it's good for like younger generations out there to hear that, like, you know, people like yourself still have to combat things that probably they think they're only going after, or, you know, facing alone, you know. But fear is something that I feel like a lot of high level athletes still have to like overcome in certain aspects, you know.
Yeah, 100%. Especially if you want to get better and push your limits, like things are going to start to get scary, you know.
Yeah.
But that's just life, like you know.
Totally, Doug. And do you have any and I don't mean to put you on blast, and like I said, I actually told James the same disclaimer. When I asked Z this question, he actually said he didn't want to answer it because he didn't want to put pressure on himself. But is there anything specifically that you're still chasing movement-wise, or any moves that you're trying to check off your own personal achievement list?
Yeah. There's a lot, but man, like when it comes to like different types of movements, like breaking, like I really want to get like an air flare. Like I would really like to be able to do that. Like I don't know, like cliff jumping wise, like I'd like to triple, because I still have like never tripled, like besides like off like a bar, like in a gym. And then when it comes to like free running, I don't know where it'll happen, but I feel like if I get a good spot and I put some like real hard training in, I think I could do cast double gainer.
Ooh, okay.
And that'd be sick, and I know like nobody's ever done that before, you know?
Yeah. You think you do that off a bar or off a like a ledge?
Probably off a ledge, because when you're at a bar, you know, you kind of gotta like sit up there for a second, or you could go from cast. But if I'm doing it, I'm gonna do it from high up. There's no way I'd be doing it off a, so it's gonna have to be a high bar. That's why I would say ledge. If I can find like a nice ledge to sand, even water, like I just feel like still committing for something like that is something I've always kind of just like thought about. You know, I tried it at Tempest once though, like off a bar into a pit, and I landed right in my head, but that was like 2017.
Yeah, crazy, dog. And no,
man, that's definitely, those are some things. There's a lot, man. There's so much when it comes to movement that it's like my head starts going crazy and I start thinking of all the things I want to do, you know?
And so I got to just ask you this one because I've seen multiple attempts on it. Have you ever gotten closer to landing cast off of your air trick?
No, I did it off the air track onto the sand, and I got kind of close, but it's just so hard, dude. Like, it's so hard trying to like understand the bounce and then trying to like not land on my head at the same time. My hands are always sweaty too, so I'm like sliding. But I think if I like really put some time, I think I could probably land it.
Okay.
But I've only tried it twice, so maybe third time's a charm.
I was gonna ask. I think I've seen both attempts, so yeah, I was curious if you've gone after it more times, just not on camera or not publicly posted. So
Yeah. No, I'll probably get after because I feel like I can. It just is gonna take a bunch of tries, you know.
Okay.
that's dope, dog. And just like, what advice would you have for maybe some young kid out here that's listening right now, or is a fan of your own personal movement and stuff like that? What advice would you have for them to like continue to further their own growth in the sport, or is there any advice you would give to like save time that you feel like you would have given your own younger self?
Man, I feel like I'm probably going to rant here, but
It's all good, dog. That's what we're here for.
man, there's a couple things. One thing I would say is we live in a weird like time right now, because like when I first started doing parkour, it was like, I watch YouTube videos and I'd be like, yo, this is sick, and like, I want to get good. But now it's like this weird age of social media that it's like people find like, oh, like a parkour free running like influencer, so then they think like they're gonna post videos and they're gonna get views and likes and all that stuff. So if I were to say anything to anyone who's maybe younger who starts like doing flips and like putting their videos out there, is don't care about like followers, likes, or any of that stuff, because I feel like some people really can get you down, and you like start training because of that. You start going out to get clips for Instagram rather than like training for yourself. And there's just a bonus that you have a nice iPhone and you can record yourself. You know what I mean? So I would say that thing is like, don't worry about too much about social media. Really just grind your craft and just kind of do that. And then you also said something about like saving time.
Yeah, like, is there any advice you would have maybe even given your younger self to save yourself time along the journey? Or you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Save myself some time. Maybe not spend so much time on my phone. It's like,
that counts too, bro.
I would say I feel like I really didn't like have this problem too much, but I think it's something that other people can maybe come across. And I would say don't be afraid to go out by yourself and like train and not have other people around, because it's really easy to have a group of your homies, some of your best homies, and everybody's training. And then like before you know it, like time can go by, and then it's just like you or one other person, and you definitely can't let that stop you, So I would say no matter who you have around you, go out and get your grind on no matter what.
I think that's invaluable advice, man. I definitely, as I got older, realized the value of solo training, because sometimes when you're around your homies, you kind of get skewed into trying stuff that they're trying, or like you get too hype and try stuff you maybe shouldn't try, and you don't really get to like refine technique. I feel like when I'm in solo sessions, I really refine my technique because no one's around me, I'm like,
yeah, and you don't have anything else to think about. It's literally just you and your movement. You're not like, your friend's not talking to you, like they're not playing maybe music or something. Like it's literally just you and your own world. And I think that's just a really special thing. And I've just done it so much, because like I've had a bunch of homies I train around with, and even now I still train with homies, but I always like to just kind of be by myself and like grind. I feel like it's sometimes when I do some of my like dopest things,
Yeah.
I'm just by myself and I'm just like letting ideas flow. And it's like, yeah, so that's what I would say, man, to be honest.
hell yeah, man. Super invaluable advice, man. That wasn't too long of a rant. That was good shit.
I probably could keep going, but those are the two things that popped into my head. So I was like, let me get that out there,
Hell yeah, man. No, it's perfect advice, dog. And then this is one thing I always ask everyone before we get out of here, and I'm kind of curious to hear your answer along with everyone else's. Where do you see Shawn Bautista 5 years from now, and then where do you see him 10 years from now?
Whew. Dude, 5 years I'll be like 30.
Yo.
Or 29, about to be 30, and I'll be like, oh my god. 5 years from now. Well, it's interesting, right? Because I told you earlier I train with one of my homies, Tony, and he's 30, or he might be, I think he's 30. And when I train with him, I still like see him like learning and doing new ways and doing power and stuff like that. So in 5 years, I'm probably just gonna be training. I'm gonna hope to be training almost as hard as I am now, but I know it's such a bold statement.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm going for, man. I'm not trying to slow down anytime soon, to be honest. And then 10 years from now, be 35. I think at that point, by the time I'm 35, bro, like I'll definitely probably have like a family. And they're all going to be like sick at like breaking and learning like parkour basics. So yeah, I would say 5 years from now, I'm still gonna be training hard. 10 years, I'll probably have a family. And guess what? I'm still gonna be training as hard as I am. So
hell yeah. And maybe by that time you'll be like a little less allergic to cats.
yeah, hopefully, or I'll become immune to it. Well, my cats, they're only gonna get bigger and they're only gonna shed more hair. So it's kind of steep.
Build that tolerance up, baby. Oh man. Oh, that's amazing, bro. Well, yo, man, more than anything, man, I appreciate you coming over here and like spreading some insight into your movement. I know, like, along with myself and so many other people, I'm just a fan of watching you get out there and break boundaries and continue to supply us with all of these clips that we get to see. So
well, I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate you having me, dude. I've always like watched like my other friends on here and stuff, and I'm like, what would I talk about? Now I can go back and I can see it talk about a bunch of random stuff, dude. And how many times I've gotten hurt. Yeah, no, it's sick, dude. It was a good time.
Hell yeah, brother. I
And
appreciate
hopefully, one day I can be in LA and I can just sit next to you in the chair and we can just watch people like do crazy stuff. That'd be sick.
Yeah, man. When COVID ends, if you ever make a trip out here to see us and the boys, bro, hit me up. We'd love to have you on the JAMCast again and a breakdown, So, yo, before we get out of here, can you just let people know where they can like stay up to date with you and continue to follow you on your Instagram and your YouTube channel to help continue, your monetization?
Yeah. So on Instagram, y'all can follow me at Shawn Bautista 420. It's 420 because my cat was born on 420. And then on YouTube, just Shawn Bautista. So if you search that up, my channel should pop up. And yeah, man, I'm hoping to stay more consistent on my YouTube. And I have a lot of really crazy stuff that's going to be coming to like my Instagram and my YouTube, because for the past month and a half maybe, I've been like training really hard and I've been filming a lot of things that I actually haven't been putting out, just because like I really haven't made the time to do any editing because I've been training so much. But yesterday when I was training in my garage, I actually pulled my hamstring and I was very shocked, and it's because I didn't warm up. It was like 30 degrees out, and I think I was so hyped from like moving around in the snow the day before. I was like, let's get it. And I pulled my hamstring. I was like, oh shit. So I'm going to be resting for a little bit, and I'm going to be putting out so many videos. So definitely make sure y'all check that out.
Hell yeah. We'll be sure to put the links on the screen, and hopefully people will head over that way and continue to make your dream possible, living off YouTube.
Dope. Hell yeah.
Dope, dog. Yo, guys, with that being said, please be sure to hit that like button, comment, subscribe for brand new episodes each and every week. Join us every Monday for Jam Breakdowns and every Friday for brand new JAMCast, interviewing influential members of the movement community like Mr. Shawn Bautista himself. So with that being said, guys, I got to give one more very special thank you and shout out to Shawn. Thanks for coming through, homie. Much appreciated.
Appreciate you, man. Seriously.
Hell yeah. And as always, guys, coming through, I'm your host, Travis Wong. Thanks for joining us here on another JAMCast. Until next time, we'll see you all soon. Peace.